Hello, everybody. My name is Anne-Marie Diaz, and I have been an instructor in Wisconsin for already over 13 years. On 2014, I certified on the Franklin method, and I would like to share something with you today, especially breathing. In this time is kind of challenging, we're stressed out, and my goal is really to make you feel better, perhaps to improve your mood, perhaps make you a little bit more flexible in your upper body, and perhaps also to get you a better breathing attitudes and patterns. So let's start. The first thing I want you to do is we're going to focus on your left side. So we're going to go here, we're going to tap like the areas around your left lungs. So tap it with your hands slightly in and then a little bit back to the lungs. Go even up here, tap to the shoulders. And then from here, just tap now, moving your arms to the outside, to the inside. One more time here. And then just brush it out. Just brush all the tension out and stand. And let's see what this did to you. Out here, perhaps you feel a little more calming effect, which would be great. So let's do now the second side. So now we're going to the right lungs, and let's just tap them all over. Let's a little bit to the back, and then to your arms, to your inner arms, to the sides. And just let's brush them again. Let all the tension come out. And then stand. And we'll always go back to a little bit body awareness. Like we're checking in, we call that. So seeing if that did an effect to us. And hopefully calmness is the effect that you just got. Besides, we move circulation, so this is very good to do anytime, every day. So now we're going to start with the first exercise. So the first exercise is going to be shoulder lift, but we're going to do it with our breath. So we're going to breathe in and lift the shoulders, and breathe out and bring the shoulders down. And then again, we're going to take a breath, lifting them up, exhale, bring it down. We first take the breath and the movement follows the breath instead of the breath following the movement. And one more. Take a breath in and then exhale and bring it down. And again, let's go back to our bodies. What did that do to us? Hopefully you feel a little bit more calm in your head. Very good. And now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So again, we're going to use the breath. So inhale and lift up, go back, exhale, go down and forward. And again, inhale. And then go up while you're inhaling, exhale. And so go at your own pleasure time, breathing. Breathing might become also a pleasure or more enjoyable. So that could be also a goal of the day. And bring it back down and relax. So here we're just doing regular breathing. Actually, we're not forcing it. Just allow your body to breathe normal. Now we're going to do a little bit more challenging is the backwards. So we're going to go going back with the inhalations, going up and forward and down, and then in body awareness. And what did that do to you? I hope you feel even now more calm. Let your breath quiet down. And now we're going to move again. So we're going to bring your right hand on top of your shoulder. I'm doing the left, so we're going to do the same size, the same way. You're mirroring me, or I'm mirroring you. And now we're going to use a little bit the body. So we're going to take a breath in, move, and open up, and go to the back on the exhalation, and bring forward. And then again, breathing, exhale. And if you put an image into your body that your lungs are very stretchy, and perhaps you even can feel like it will make a big difference. And one more. And exhale. And bring it back down. And bringing your arms down. Stay back here. You can do everything what I'm doing also in sitting. I'm just doing it standing because I think most of you are sitting the whole day. And I want you now to experience breathing into that right lung. And then breathe into the opposite lung. And perhaps you can feel how one side is really restricted and you gain some freedom on this side you just worked on. So we need to do the other side. So bring again the fingers on top of your shoulders. And then let's focus with the breath, with inhalation again through your nose. And then open up, thinking about those flexible lungs. And then exhaling back, breathing, and movement follows the breath. And bring it back. And perhaps now even the joints can be flexible, stretchy, juicy, so they can move around, allowing you some freedom. And the last one. And then bring it back down, bring your hands back down, taking breath again. Did your breath get more even? I hope so. If you did, then you are in the right way, we're in the right direction. Okay, let's now keep on going here, both arms here. And we're going to actually focus a little bit more in the exhalation. So in order for that, we're going to use the sound of okay? It's not going to be shh. There's not going to be any tension. Also, the inhalation is not going to be and then shh. No, we're going to just sit gently, just normal breath, and exhale with that. So we're going to rotate while you go with this S sound. So you take a breath in, and then and when you can, just release. Don't overdo it. And bring it down. And see on the effects what it did. Perhaps it's calming out your mind as well. So in case you feel your head fuzzy, it means you did too strong your S. So perhaps we want to do another sound here. So we're going to do the same thing, perhaps with humming. So that would be with the mm. So bring your hands back here, where we were, and let's do it. Take an inhale, and then hum. And bring it back. So you can choose doing either one or doing both. So now we're going to do a little bit more now on lateral side bending. So bring your hands back here. So applying the same thing, taking a breath, and then and bring it back. And let's do it with that hum. So let's breathe and and bring it back. You might be able to do more or less. It does not matter. It's just your own breathing. And the more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. And let's just see how we feel here. Is your breath improved? And now I want to go to the breathing muscle. That is our diaphragm. Actually, the lungs, human beings are negative pressure breathing. So we create a vacuum in order to get the air in. So our most important muscles, we have more, but the one I want to talk today is about the diaphragm. And the diaphragm, you can see, it attaches here to the sternum, to the diaphragm, and then goes here to the lower ribs, attaches here, goes back, and actually attaches to your lumbar spine. And through fascia is also connected to your pelvis and to your lower back. So being able to breathe here through the diaphragm really might help also back pain and also SI joint issues, okay? So we have that. So we're just going to tap now into the diaphragm. That's what we just saw here. So we know it attaches here. And we can just start tapping. So you know it goes to the lower ribs and then back here, and we're going to tap it here to the lower back. We're going to do it one more time. So a little bit of awareness of the area we're going to work on. And because it's inside, it's so much harder to get or feel it. And then we're just going to release. And you might feel that just this made a big difference on your breathing and on your calmness. So just doing that might be a good idea. So let's now do some function, how the diaphragm goes. So the diaphragm is here, that dome. So it does this form, it goes, attaches. Actually on the right side it's a little bit higher because we have the liver, which is a very large organ. And when we take a breath, actually, the diaphragm goes slightly down. Then on the exhale, it comes back up. So let's try to do that. So take a breath in, one, you're going down, exhale, bring it up. Breathe in, breathe out. Just regular breathing without forcing anything. In and out. And last time, and back. So sometimes we forget or we don't use the diaphragm, and with the time it becomes kind of thicker because it has not been stretched out, it has not been used. And the consequences of that is then your back has to work harder, your neck has to work harder. So let's now enhance that also in movement, because sometimes when we move, it's exactly there where we don't breathe anymore, or we hold our breath. So let's imagine or just focus on where you breathe in, and we go now lateral. Your diaphragm goes down, and when you come up, it comes back up. And again, breathe in, and exhale, and in, and out, and one more time, in, and out. Let's go to the other side. Let's first compare with that there. So move to the right and to the left. And you might feel that moving to the side you just went in, it's easier. And then the other, so we want to do the other side. So bring again your hands like a dome underneath, and they lower, and they come up. Inhale down, exhale up. In and up. And last one. And bring it back. And now move again. So it might be more even. And again, take a breath and see if that had even an effect on your breathing. I hope by now you're so much calmer, not so much thinking. And now we want to stretch that muscle of the diaphragm. So we're going to lift now your right arm, I'm doing my left, and you want to bring the hand on the outside of your rib cage. So now we're going to go on the exhalation going over. So we're going to breathe, and then when we exhale, we're stretching the diaphragm. So it's lengthening. And then we'll bring it back down and breathe, exhale. On the inhalation, we come up and exhale. And bring it back up. Very good. And now we're going to apply the S or your hum, whatever you like better. So let's start inhaling, and then on the exhalation, on the inhale, come. On the exhale, the next one we're going to even bounce a little bit. Exhale and bounce. And bring your arms back down. And now try to breathe again to that side, your right side, the one you just worked on. That right lung. And then try now to breathe to the left side. Left side. So we're going to do the other side. I'm sure you want to do that one. So bring your hand on the outside of your rib cage. And then let's take a breath, and on the exhalation, stretch the diaphragm. And inhale, come up. Exhale. I'm going to do the humming this time. You can either do the S or the hum. So take a breath. And we're going to pulse here a couple times. And we're going to bring it down and breathe. Okay, we have here also our ribs that are here. So when we start stretching the diaphragm, something is in order the ribs also are lengthening. So let's try that one. So we're going to get here, let's get your fingers in between the space of two of your ribs. If that is painful, because sometimes we have not gone into those muscles, so find ones where you find it is comfortable, and you're going to bring them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to rub it, just rubbing a little bit those ribs, and then we're going to do again our lateral bending, and then with that lateral bending you're going to bring the fingers away, so allowing that to stretch a little bit more, and then bring it back. So this will be on inhalation. You want to lengthen out this, and then on the exhalation they come back. So think about consciously stretching even those ribs to the back, and then bring it back down. And last time, and exhale, and bring it down. And take again your breath. Let's do the other side. Let's go to the other rib side. And let's just find two. So really when you have time, you can do all of them, more of them. I'm just showing you possibilities. So just rub them a moment. And you even can move while you rub sideways. And then we're going to move the hands, so we're even stretching a little bit more. And stretching. And one more time. And bring it back in. So now we're going to go to the rib cage. I hope There's so many more things to go, but with the limited time, I'm just trying to give you as much as possible. So, yeah, one of the other important things here is what happens when we breathe. So when we breathe, the diaphragm, already we know it goes down. What happens when it goes down? There, the stomach, all our organs are here, so they're being compressed down. And what happens now to the abdominal wall? It actually has to push a little bit out. So let's do that now. So let's see if we can feel that. So when we take a breath in, well, the diaphragm went down, the abdominal wall went out, and then when we exhale, the abdominal wall goes in and the diaphragm goes up. This is actually a very good way how to tone your abs. Because once the whole abdominal wall gets all the pressure of the organs, it has to kind of go up. What I do see a lot of time, people breathing and pushing the belly all the way out. That's not correct. It's not the diaphragm going down and up, so it's a slightly movement. I'm talking about abdominals. I want you also, because the bigger, the more abdominals, they're more towards the side. Our obliques, like you know, and our transverse abdominals, it's also, they start from the side. So let's bring the fingertips here to the lower part of your ribs. You can feel it poking. And now let's try while you breathe in, if you can feel that expanding. Because since those muscles have to expand if you're doing proper breathing. It's not much, but it's a little. You might feel it. And now we know it expands here to the side and to the front. So we're going to bring one hand here. Why is that with the abdominals? Because they also attach here to the sternum where the diaphragm is. So whatever happens here in your ribs will affect also your abs. So here now we know that on the inhalation, the belly goes slightly out, the ribs expand. On the exhalation, the ribs go in and the belly goes in. So they go out, diaphragm goes down, and the breathe out, they go in. One more time. And exhale. And bring it back down. And see what that did to your breath. I hope you can breathe easier and deeper. Now I would like to go still to the other part, the rib cage. What happens with the rib cage? I'm going to bring back your mat. So this is our ribs. And if you can see, we have some fixed ribs, then we have in the middle, and then we have the fake, what we call ribs, and then they are like movable here. So that has a reason. So the diaphragm fits, the organs fit, but also we call it rib cage. And really, in my mind, a rib cage is a cage where you don't move. And that is not really true for the ribs. As you can see, even the shape, it's not square like a cake. It has turnings in the front, also in the back. So that is, they're very, not all of them, but some of them are very mobile. And we want to bring and experience that. So bring your hands again back to your to the outside of your ribs. And we're going to do rotation with this. So don't forget even to breathe, even when you rotate. And see that you can feel that the ribs change their shape. And then bring it back in. And again, go over to the other side. And bring it in. And then in the Franklin method, we like to do the opposite to see if that works. So now we imagine the rib cage is not moving. And I'll try to move to this. So there's no change in the ribs. And try to move to this side. And you see, there was very little movement. So here it's really not fun. And bring it back. So let's go to function. So let's move now. Again to the side. Feel how the ribs go one to the back, the other one to the front. And perhaps you might feel that one side is not the same as the other one. And now we want even to get a little bit more sense. So now we're going to even use the hands and we're going to push. You can see I'm pushing this hand forward and this one back, allowing my rib cage to move more. Taking a breath in and out. And again, moving out. And exhaling. And bring it back and get it back down. And here the ribs are attached to the sternum. This is here the sternum. And here's the manubrium on the top, the xiphoid on the bottom. And so let's go and experience a little bit, because even that sternum has some movement. So if we go now to the sternum, here to the notch, to the manubrium, and you walk your fingers a little bit down, you might find a bump. Something that is sticking a little bit up. It's not dramatically. So this is a joint. This joint is very important for flexion and extension. So let's rub it a moment, so give it a little bit of attention to that. You might have never done it before. And let's roll a little bit forward, like you're really going. And then let's extend it. And let's again going forward. If we never move that, that might ossify, and that is not a good situation in the body, because then your spine gets very stiff. And then release it down. And I want to do one more thing with you, because also when we breathe, we take inhales, the spine also lengthens. So I want you to experience that also with movement. So I want you to bring your hands behind your skull, actually underneath. So you're interlacing it, but with the possibility that you can lift your skull up. So you can feel, or you just bring one hand on top of the other one. Fine, drop here, you have like two little bones that stick a little bit out, so you can get those in. And then when you breathe, you lift it out on the inhale, and the exhale, you bring it back down. And the in, and on the exhale, back down. On the inhale, come up. Exhale, back down. And last one. And then release your hands. See how that feels. Actually, this is also a very good exercise to do for people who have a tendency of going with the head forward, which is happening a lot. And then you probably also feel more freedom here in your chest area. So let's go back to that. Hands behind your head, or actually behind your neck, so you can lift a little bit your neck. So we're going to do lateral bending, side bending. So we're going to take a breath, and then we're going to go over to the right, lifting the skull away from your neck. And then on the exhalation, come back down. And lift it out on the inhale. And exhale. Start with the breath first, and then the movement. Inhale, up. Exhale, coming back. Let's go to the other side. Take a breath in, lifting up. While you go over, exhale. Bring it down when you come up. And breathe in, going up, over. Exhale. Back down. And one more time. Breathe in, up, over. And exhale. And bring it down. And bring your arms down. And then perhaps a little bit of awareness now. So did that affect your posture? Did it affect your breathing? Touch your back. How are you feeling? And yes, it is important breathing. You know, we breathe, we take 20 times a day we breathe. So it's a good idea to improve this. And if that wasn't so good, perhaps the next breath. So you have 20,000 opportunities to improve your breath. And if you were yawning and feel like kind of tired, this is actually a very good sign that you relaxed, that you went more into your parasympathetic system. And I hope you enjoyed this workshop, and thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you learned something. I was looking at the water. We started a little bit later.